If you've taken advantage of the wonderful freedoms our PDP Flex design affords you, then you probably have a variety of other pre-approved activities to enter on your transcript. You do that by clicking on this Other Activities button, which takes you to a Record Other Pre-Approved Professional Development Activities frame. You pick one of these categories and you click on Save and go to Next Text, and it's going to call up a series of dialog boxes for you to complete. Let's walk through that process for one common example, which is reading, writing, and research that you've done on your own. So I click on Save and go to Next, and it calls up these boxes for me to complete. An activity title, a brief description of the activity, a start and end date, and the total number of hours. There's also an optional Provide Documentation box. It's not required, but we recommend it because the way our system's set up is that ultimately you are individually liable for any kind of outside audit that takes place of our PDP hours. So you need to have the backup documentation so you can show people that you did the work. A good place to put that documentation is in the system right here, so you don't have to be recollecting it somewhere else later. Now let's take a look at a sample that I've already completed of how to do this, so you wouldn't have to sit and watch me type. I've given my activity a title. I like to say whether it was reading, writing, or research. So I say reading, and then I have the name of the article. Then in my description, I say where it came from, what journal it came from, what it was about, and what I did with it. In this case, I had a discussion with some colleagues. So what do I have? I have two things that happen, reading and a discussion. So my start date and end date aren't the same, but my total hours are actual hours. Sometimes people ask, what are the reading limits? There aren't. It's the actual number of hours you spent reading, the actual number of hours you spent discussing. In this case, it was 2, an hour to read, an hour to discuss. I could put in supporting documentation. I haven't done that for this kind of assignment, but I could put in an annotated PDF of the article. I could put in a brief summary of the article. If I did a blog post, I could put that, or I could put in an attendance roster that my fellow participants and I created at our discussion, took a picture of, and submitted. There's a lot of options, none of which are required. When I update or submit that activity, it will show up on my transcript. That's it? Yeah, that's it. If it shows up on your transcript, it's in the system. There's no submit button on the transcript page. What the transcript shows is what the system has. Hope this helped. Bye.